Welcome to my story time by MyBookSummary.com. Get ready for quick wisdom of countless stories and explore. Divergent by Veronica Roth. In a crumbling city surrounded by ruins, the world was divided into 5 factions, each representing a core virtue that was believed to keep society from falling apart. Abnegation valued selflessness, Erudite worshipped knowledge, Dauntless thrived on bravery, Amity sought peace, and candor upheld honesty. Every citizen belonged to one of these factions, and once they chose, they were expected to live by its rules forever. Faction before family. Faction before self. That was the way things worked. Beatrice Pryor had grown up in abnegation, where selflessness was a way of life. No mirrors, no indulgence, no questioning authority. It was a quiet existence, but deep inside, she felt restless. Unlike her brother Caleb, who fit the abnegation mold perfectly, Beatrice struggled to suppress her curiosity. She wasn't supposed to want more, but she did. And when the day of her aptitude test arrived, the test that would tell her where she truly belonged, her world turned upside down. A secret that could kill her. Most people took the aptitude test and walked out with a single result. Beatrice wasn't so lucky. Her test administrator, a woman named Tori, looked at her with a rare kind of fear. "Your results were inconclusive," she said in a hushed voice. "You're divergent." Beatrice had never heard that word before, but the way Tori said it made it clear. It wasn't something to be proud of. Divergence didn't fit into just one faction. Their minds worked differently, unpredictably. And if the authorities found out, they would eliminate her. Tori deleted Beatrice's test results and warned her to tell no one. But that didn't change the fact that she had a decision to make. She could stay in abnegation, where she had never truly belonged, or leave everything behind and forge a new path. The choice that changed everything. The choosing ceremony arrived. In front of the entire city, each 16-year-old stepped forward, cut their palm, and let their blood drip into the bowl of the faction they chose. When Beatrice's turn came, she stood frozen between the familiar gray of abnegation and the blazing coals of Dauntless. Her parents expected her to stay. Caleb had already chosen Erudite, shocking them all. Beatrice took the knife, sliced her palm, and watched her blood fall into the Dauntless bowl. She had chosen bravery, thrown into the fire. Dauntless was nothing like abnegation. It was wild, reckless, merciless. The second the initiates arrived, they were told to jump onto a moving train, because walking, apparently, was for the weak. Some didn't make it. Some were left behind. And those who did, their next challenge was even worse. Jumping off a skyscraper. The other initiates hesitated, whispering about whether the fall would kill them. But Beatrice? She did what no one else dared. She stepped forward and leaped. She crashed into a giant net below, gasping for breath. Hands reached up to pull her out, and she was met with the cool gaze of a dauntless trainer. "First jumper," he said, nodding. "Nice one." His name was Four, a name that carried more mystery than explanation. And just like that, Beatrice became Triss. Brutal lessons and a ruthless game. Dauntless initiation wasn't just about proving yourself. It was about survival. Every day was a battle, hand-to-hand combat, knife throwing, gun training, psychological fear simulations. The initiates were ranked, and the lowest-ranking ones would be cut, thrown out into the streets to live factionless. Triss was small, weak, and completely out of place. But she refused to break. She pushed through bruises, learned how to fight, and climbed the ranks. She wasn't the strongest, but she was quick. She learned to think differently, because she was divergent. And someone had started to notice. For watched her more than he watched the others. He saw the way she resisted the fear simulations, the way her mind worked outside the rules. And when she asked him why he was paying attention, his answer was simple. "You're not like the others." Triss didn't know whether that was a good thing or a death sentence. A city on the brink of war. While Triss fought to survive initiation, Erudite was planning something sinister. Their leader, Janine Matthews, had declared war on abnegation, claiming they were unfit to rule. But they didn't want a political fight. They wanted a massacre. With the help of Dauntless leaders, Erudite developed a mind control serum, a way to turn dauntless soldiers into an obedient army. And the night before initiation ended, they injected every Dauntless member with it. Triss woke up to a nightmare. Her fellow Dauntless, including Four, stood stiffly in their beds, their eyes empty. They had become erudite soldiers. And Triss, the serum didn't work on her, because she was divergent, the fight against control. The mindless Dauntless marched through the city, following erudite's orders to slaughter abnegation. Triss ran through the chaos, dodging gunfire and searching for her family, until she saw Four. He wasn't himself. The serum had taken over his mind. And yet, something flickered in his gaze when he saw her. A hesitation. A resistance. Triss had no choice. She fought back. She broke into Erudite's control center, faced Janine Matthews herself, and forced her to shut down the simulation. The dauntless soldiers collapsed, free from the serum's grip. But the war wasn't over. The city was in ruins. Abnegation was destroyed. The factions were crumbling. And the truth was finally coming to light. The world outside their city was not what they had been told. Triss had fought to survive, but now she had to fight for something bigger. For freedom. For the truth. For the divergent. And she knew one thing for sure. This was just the beginning. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.